When you say the word voodoo, a lot of people think of human sacrifices, vampires, dripping blood, and devil worship. Yet none of these originated with or ever belonged to voodoo. Voodoo is so much more than what people seem to think it is. Over time, voodoo has been twisted in so many ways due to movies and scary stories that have made it to where it looks like it's something it's not. Voodoo is a life-affirming practice that encourages its participants to better understand the natural processes of life and their own spiritual natures. There are 3 types of voodoo that are common in the United States. They come in the form of Haitian voodoo, New Orleans voodoo, and Louisiana voodoo. Let us first look at Haitian voodoo's history, how it was conformed, and what exactly Haitian voodoo consists of. Haitian voodoo is found almost everywhere you turn in Haiti. Haitian voodoo is defined as a national folk religion that combines theological and magical elements of African religion and some elements of Roman Catholics. African religion is a combination of all the religious traditions and activities involved in Africa. Haitian voodoo began over 600 years ago but didn't come to the United States until the late 1960s. People who practice this type of voodoo worship a god that they consider distant from them. They call him Bondi. Whenever they are worshiping their god, they speak to lower spirits, known as the Lao, to transfer the message for them. During a voodoo service, the Haitians worship inside of a temple known as a hanfor. While they're inside, they cook many different types of foods, including chickens, vegetables, and many other soul foods that they believe will bring the spirit in closer with them. They also sing many different types of songs that are known to wake up the spirit and let them know that it's okay for them to visit. When trying to reach a spirit, only the family involved with the spirit will benefit from the ritual. A person is known to become possessed by the spirit, and then the spirit will begin to talk out of the body that is currently possessed. If you interrupt a spirit while it's trying to take over a body, it's known to be bad luck. Now that I've covered the background of Haitian voodoo, I'll take us on to New Orleans voodoo. New Orleans voodoo is the most popular type of voodoo in the United States. Only 15% of the population practices voodoo, and 11% of that is New Orleans voodoo. As each year goes on, it's rapidly decreasing. It began around 1510 during the slave trade. The slave trade was when the slaves were taken from the west coast of Africa to the Caribbean. They brought many, if not all, of their practices and beliefs with them. Many of them kept everything a secret because if they were caught practicing any type of voodoo, then they were put on death row. The practice of New Orleans voodoo is known to be the most sacred type of voodoo today. It involves dolls, candles, spells, drummers, and dancers. New Orleans voodoo is the most stereotypical type of voodoo. When you think voodoo, you most likely are thinking New Orleans voodoo. These rituals are meant to bring you the blessings of the Lo and the Orisha and guide you towards your purpose. The Lo and the Orisha are the gods that people of New Orleans worship. This type of voodoo is known to be more of a blessing type of voodoo. Many people will have a worship during their wedding, children's party, or anything that you would like to be blessed. When people turn to New Orleans voodoo, they're looking for more of an escape from the real world with whom they worship. After covering Haitian voodoo and New Orleans voodoo, it leaves us with Louisiana voodoo. Louisiana voodoo is the least practiced type of voodoo in the United States. A lot of people confuse New Orleans voodoo with Louisiana voodoo because they're very similar in many different ways. It originated from the same place as New Orleans voodoo, and many of the slaves who practiced Louisiana voodoo were in the slave trade with the ones that practiced New Orleans voodoo, and that is where the people get confused. Louisiana voodoo is considered more of a payback/evil type of voodoo. Their knowledge of herbs, poisons, and ritual creation of charms intended to protect oneself or harm others became key in healing, or the harm of others the key aspect to learning Louisiana voodoo. They have a charm that they use to poison an enemy, contained with poisonous roots of the figure ramada tree, brought from Africa and preserved in the West Indies. The ground-up root was combined with other elements such as bones, nails, holy water, holy candles, holy incense, holy bread, or crucifixes. The administrator of the ritual frequently evoked projection from Jehovah, the Christian God, and Jesus Christ. This openness of African belief was allowed for the adoption of Catholic practices into Louisiana voodoo. In voodoo spells, the cure-all was very popular among followers. The cure-all spell was a voodoo spell that could solve all problems. One recipe was to mix Jimson weed with sulfur and honey. The mixture was placed in a glass, which rubbed against a black cat, and then the mixture was slowly stirred. Contrary to popular belief, voodoo dolls are usually used to bless instead of curse. The purpose of sticking pins into a doll is not to cause pain in the person that the doll is associated with, but rather to pin a picture of a person or a name to the doll, which traditionally represents a spirit. The different types of voodoo are all very different, but also similar at the same time. I've told you about Haitian voodoo, New Orleans voodoo, and Louisiana voodoo. As bizarre as some of the rituals and beliefs of voodoo seem to us, there's little doubt that the followers of voodoo believe as strongly in their faith as any Christian, Buddhist, or Muslim believes in theirs. The voodoo believer will contend that his religion is not a primitive, lesser religion, but is based on belief in one supreme God and honors the souls of his ancestors and his loved ones. He will also contend that voodoo is not an evil religion, but was tainted by such books written earlier in the century and by Hollywood through horror movies that depict voodoo as evil. He will admit that while there is a dark side to evil, it's no more representative of voodoo than satanic worship and is representative of Christianity. Just as the Christian believes in miracles, so do voodoo followers believe in their magic of gods. Many people are uneducated on what voodoo actually is these days. Voodoo is much more than just dolls and creepy old women.